Why is it that when we think of iconic skylines, images of New York, Hong Kong, or Dubai spring to mind, but rarely those of Paris, Rome, or Berlin? Europe, a continent teeming with history and culture, seems to have made a conscious choice to embrace a different kind of urban landscape, one defined by low-rise buildings and a profound respect for its past. This preference for modest heights over towering skyscrapers is no accident. It is a reflection of deeply ingrained values, historical circumstances, and a commitment to preserving the unique character of these ancient cities. Europe's relationship with its architectural heritage is complex and deeply rooted. For centuries, cities evolved organically, with buildings reflecting the styles and needs of their time. This resulted in a rich tapestry of architectural styles, from Romanesque and Gothic cathedrals to Renaissance palaces and Baroque townhouses. The destruction wrought by World War II further emphasized the importance of preserving what remained. Unlike cities in the New World, which often had the opportunity to build anew, European cities were faced with the task of rebuilding and restoring, of weaving the new into the fabric of the old. This approach fostered a profound sense of respect for the past and a desire to maintain a visual continuity with the city's historical identity. The introduction of soaring skyscrapers, symbols of unchecked modernity, was seen as disruptive and potentially damaging to this delicate balance. While modern structures have certainly found their place in European cities, their development has generally been carefully considered, often located in designated business districts or on the city outskirts, ensuring that the historical core remains largely untouched. This conscious decision to prioritize historical preservation has had a profound impact on the European urban landscape, shaping not only its physical appearance but also its social and cultural dynamics. It has fostered a sense of continuity and belonging, allowing residents to feel connected to the city's rich past. The streets, squares, and buildings whisper stories of bygone eras, creating a unique and immersive experience for both residents and visitors alike. Europe's cities are living museums, testaments to centuries of human endeavor and artistic expression. The streets are paved with the echoes of empires and revolutions, and every corner holds a story waiting to be discovered. This deep connection to the past has profoundly shaped the urban landscape, influencing architectural styles, city planning, and even the pace of life. Unlike younger cities, built on the promise of the future, European cities carry the weight of their history in every brick and cobblestone. This historical legacy is not simply a matter of aesthetics, it is interwoven into the very fabric of daily life. Narrow, winding streets, remnants of medieval urban planning, dictate the flow of traffic and pedestrian movement. Ancient foundations, often dating back to Roman times, pose unique challenges for modern construction, limiting the feasibility of large-scale skyscraper development. The presence of historical landmarks, from cathedrals to palaces, further restricts the potential for vertical expansion, as preserving sightlines and the overall visual harmony of the cityscape becomes paramount. This respect for historical context extends beyond individual buildings to encompass entire neighborhoods and districts. Many European cities have designated historical preservation zones, where strict regulations govern renovations, alterations, and new construction. These regulations aim to maintain the architectural integrity of the area, ensuring that new developments harmonize with the existing historical fabric. While these regulations can sometimes be perceived as restrictive, they are essential for safeguarding the city's unique character and preventing the homogenization that often accompanies unchecked development. The preservation of historic buildings is not merely an act of nostalgia. It is an investment in the city's cultural capital, its identity, and its appeal to both residents and visitors. These structures are not simply relics of the past. They are living, breathing parts of the city, contributing to its beauty, its character, and its economic vitality. They are tangible links to the past, providing a sense of continuity and belonging, and reminding us that we are part of a larger narrative that extends far beyond our own lifetimes. Navigating the labyrinthine streets of many European cities, one is struck by their intimate scale and the sense of discovery they evoke. Unlike the grid-like layouts of many modern cities, European streets often follow ancient paths, winding their way through neighborhoods, revealing hidden courtyards, charming squares, and architectural gems at every turn. This organic street pattern, a legacy of centuries of urban development, has had a significant impact on the city's skyline, limiting the feasibility of skyscraper construction and contributing to the preservation of its human scale. The narrow streets and irregular building plots, characteristic of many historic European city centers, pose significant logistical challenges for modern construction projects. Maneuvering large cranes and transporting heavy materials through these confined spaces is a complex and costly undertaking. The ancient foundations of many existing buildings, often built upon Roman or medieval structures, further complicate the process, requiring specialized engineering solutions and careful consideration of potential impacts on neighboring structures. Moreover, the introduction of skyscrapers into these historic neighborhoods would inevitably disrupt the existing urban fabric, casting long shadows over narrow streets, overwhelming the scale of surrounding buildings, and fundamentally altering the character of these cherished spaces. The visual impact of such a transformation would be undeniable, potentially diminishing the aesthetic appeal and historical significance of the area. The challenges posed by narrow streets and ancient foundations are not insurmountable, but they do necessitate a more considered and nuanced approach to urban development. Architects and city planners must work within the constraints of the existing urban fabric, finding creative solutions that respect the historical context while accommodating the needs of a growing population. This often involves adaptive reuse of existing buildings, infill development on vacant lots, and a focus on creating vibrant public spaces that enhance the pedestrian experience. Europe's commitment to preserving its architectural heritage is evident in the numerous historical districts found in cities across the continent. These areas, often encompassing entire neighborhoods or even city centers, are subject to strict regulations aimed at protecting the architectural integrity and historical character of the built environment. While these regulations can sometimes be perceived as bureaucratic hurdles, they play a vital role in safeguarding the city's unique identity and preventing the homogenization that often accompanies unchecked development. The concept of historical preservation is not simply about freezing time or creating an idealized version of the past. It is about recognizing the value of these structures and spaces as tangible links to the city's history, its culture, and its identity. It is about understanding that these buildings are not simply relics of bygone eras, but living, breathing parts of the urban fabric, contributing to its beauty, its character, and its economic vitality. Preservation efforts often involve a delicate balancing act between respecting the historical integrity of a building and adapting it to meet contemporary needs. This may involve sensitive renovations, structural reinforcements, or the introduction of modern amenities while preserving the essential character of the structure. The goal is not to create a museum piece, but to ensure that these buildings can continue to serve a useful purpose in the life of the city, whether as residences, businesses, cultural institutions, or public spaces. The benefits of historical preservation extend beyond the aesthetic and cultural realms. By preserving historic buildings, cities can reduce their environmental footprint, as restoring existing structures often consumes less energy and resources than demolishing and rebuilding. Historic districts also tend to attract tourism, boosting local economies and creating jobs. Perhaps most importantly, preservation fosters a sense of continuity, belonging, and connection to the past, reminding us that we are part of a larger story that extends far beyond our own lifetimes. In contrast to the dense, often overwhelming urban landscapes of many modern metropolises, European cities are characterized by an abundance of green spaces, parks, and gardens that provide welcome respites from the hustle and bustle of city life. These green oases are not simply decorative elements, they are integral parts of the urban fabric, contributing to the city's livability, its environmental sustainability, and the well-being of its residents. The presence of these green spaces has a profound impact on the city's skyline, interrupting the monotony of built structures and introducing a sense of visual balance and harmony. Parks and gardens act as natural lungs for the city, absorbing carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen, and mitigating the urban heat island effect. They provide spaces for recreation, relaxation, and social interaction, fostering a sense of community and improving the overall quality of life for residents. Moreover, the integration of green spaces into the urban fabric encourages a more pedestrian-friendly environment, as residents are more likely to walk or cycle when they have access to pleasant and inviting green corridors. This, in turn, reduces traffic congestion and air pollution, contributing to a healthier and more sustainable urban ecosystem. The commitment to creating and maintaining green spaces is a reflection of a deep-seated belief in the importance of integrating nature into the urban environment. It is a recognition that cities are not simply concrete jungles, but complex ecosystems that must balance the needs of human inhabitants with the health of the natural world. These green spaces are not simply amenities. They are essential components of a livable, sustainable, and resilient urban future.